In 1975, Canadian director Norman Jewison held a screening of a yet unreleased film for a group of United States senators. None of these fossils had anything particularly interesting to say about the film. Most of their drivel consisted of brain-dead generalizations. That film was Rollerball. I'm sure we are all familiar with the underdog sports story about the team of misfits that bands together and through the power of friendship wins the state championship or whatever. Plenty of movies follow this pattern. Miracle, Hoosiers, Glory Road, Remember the Titans, and We Are Marshall, to name but a few, fit into this category. For the sake of being candid, I want to be clear that I generally do not care much for this genre of film. These movies are supposed to inspire, but I find them predictable and therefore boring. They all have the same characters, the same angry coach, the funny guy, the guy who doubts himself. They have the same plot, the same ending. I've already seen the perfect underdog sports movie, Rocky. Yet when I watch Hoosiers, I find that I am just rewatching Rocky. The same goes for all the other movies I've mentioned, in addition to nearly every other sports movie I've watched. I realize that not all sports films follow this pattern, but in my experience, every single sports movie that has been recommended to me or praised by someone I know fits into this category. Now would be the perfect time to throw in a Jungian analysis of one of the fundamental stories that transcends culture and time in its appeal to the human psyche, but enough of that bullshit. It's not really that big a deal that most sports movies are remixes of each other. On the other hand, I think that it's a bigger deal that they rarely progress beyond surface-level themes of effort and teamwork paying off in the end, sprinkled with enough slapstick comedy to keep audiences from getting bored. Not everyone needs anything more than this, but I am not satisfied. So here's a reason beyond my own personal preference why most sports movies may not be worth your time. Every modern sport consists in a structure governed by rules and sustained through collective effort. It's a system, like lots of other things. A privileged few sit at the top and reap the benefits of fame, wealth, popularity, you name it. Everyone else sits at the bottom, crushed by the sheer weight of the monolith. The system of sports is filled with rivalries, scandals, shady dealings, oppression, cheating, lying, and 100 other terrible things so mundane and common I don't even know why I am bothering to mention them. Regardless of whether sports are good or bad, every sport is dominated by a certain skill or set of skills to the detriment of all other qualities. In the world of sports, what sort of person you are, whether you are good or bad, does not matter as long as you have what it takes to be good at that particular sport. If you possess the required skill, you will succeed. You will rise to the top of the monolith. If you trample down others on your path to the top, you will rise faster. The more single-minded, brutal, and psychopathic you become, the more likely you are to cement yourself as one of the greats. This is unjust. Job noticed it in the Bible. Socrates noticed it in the Republic. The wicked prosper, and it is despicable. The good and bad alike can succeed and enjoy the privileges of being elite. The system of sports is twisted and unjust, and most sports movies either pretend that the system has no problems or are completely ignorant of them. Every single underdog story features the team of misfits squaring up against the black-jerseyed asshole super team who in the end get what's coming to them. Yet in the end, justice is not served. No wrong has been righted. The guys on top have just been replaced. Nothing has really changed. The victor wear different colored jerseys, nothing more. The system remains intact, and justice prevails. Even movies like Glory Road and Remember the Titans sink to this level. Sure, these films explore themes of social injustice, but they are still filled with the tripe that everyone is equal out on the court. The social changes all take place outside of sports, because sports are supposed to be the one place where there is no prejudice, where there is no injustice. This is a fucking lie. Texas Western College has done nothing to change the system of sports. T.C. Williams High School utterly fails to combat the oppressive cycle perpetuated through sports. On the contrary, these teams have merely propped up the system and participated in it. They are complicit in the injustice. Upsetting the status quo takes a whole lot more than winning a championship. If this small momentary victory is all you aim for, far from toppling the structure, you only add to it by strengthening its foundation so that you can stand taller. Once you reach the top, the only place left for you to go is down, but you will do everything you can to stay at the top, because once you leave, you will lose everything that you have worked so hard to achieve. And you have achieved much, all at the expense of others. No matter how good at a sport you may be, you will eventually outlive your prime, and someone younger, fresher, and better than you will take your place. At that point, it will become apparent that you never made a difference. As soon as you fall from the top, you are forgotten. At best, you are remembered only to be compared to the current champions, but you have ceased to matter. In order to truly make a difference, you must break out of, topple, destroy the system. That is what Rollerball is all about. The dystopian future depicted in Rollerball is dominated by corporations that control the world's populace through consumerism, mass media, and, of course, sports. Jonathan E. is a professional player of the exciting, violent sport of Rollerball. He has just begun his 10th season of the sport, and he is at the height of his career, the best in the world. He stands at the top of the monolith. He uses his unique position to fight against the status quo. He desires to prove himself on the court, to prove that he has what it takes to succeed, to prove that he is skilled and hardworking enough to seize victory, glory, and self-fulfillment. Most of all, he wants to prove his ability to make a change in the world, and along the way, he breaks the system of Rollerball. At the beginning of the film, Jonathan E. has bought into the status quo. Corporations control the masses through entertainment, primarily through the ultra-violent, even deadly sport of Rollerball. Jonathan E. is the star, the best in the world, the team captain of last season's world champions, and the favorite to win the title yet again. Before the match at the beginning of the film, Jonathan taps his hand to the rhythm of the corporate anthem. At this point, the anthem still means something to him. He believes that all is right in the world because he can play the sport that he loves. After winning the season opener, Jonathan's manager informs him that he will be forced into retirement. But Jonathan is at the peak of his career. He has been the best in the sport for the past 10 years, but the executives who control the corporations have decided that his time is up. He must abandon the sport that he loves and fade into obscurity. He is not allowed to protest or question their decision. He is expected to comply because the executives have the best interest of everyone at heart. Because they wield power and authority, the executives have to live with the responsibility of making decisions that affect the entire globe. At times, they are forced to do things that disadvantage certain individuals in the name of the common good. Jonathan is told that this is for his own benefit, even though it is not what he wants. Jonathan loves Rollerball. It is what he lives for. And these executives are trying to take away the thing that he loves for no apparent reason. What follows is a thinly veiled commentary on capitalism and the dangers presented to freedom and self-expression by consumerism and other modern trends. It's all fairly surface level, the sort of stuff even US senators can understand, but it never gets preachy, and it also never overshadows the sheer spectacle of rollerball. Much like American football, rollerball sports such brutality that few players last very long without getting injured. Jonathan E. is an anomaly. Rollerball is a game designed to be so violent and brutal that no single player endures long enough to be great at it. Jonathan E., however, is great at the game, the best, and he has been great for 10 years, something no one ever thought was possible. The system of rollerball fails because Jonathan E. can be really good at it. Instead of getting chewed up and spit out, Jonathan E. grabs rollerball by the balls and uses it as a form of self-expression. In Jonathan's hands, rollerball is no longer a means to control people, but rather an expression of freedom. Jonathan shapes the game of rollerball into a form that suits him, and in so doing, he topples the structure that the corporate overlords worked so hard to construct. In more traditional sports movies, the monolithic structure of the sport never so much as trembles. The players, teams, and coaches are all chained by the system. Their dreams rise no higher than the next championship. They dare not dream what lies beyond. Texas Western and Glory Road and T.C. Williams and Remember the Titans, for all their social progressivism, failed to dismantle the oppressive sporting system, instead merely participating in it. They did not have what it takes to actually make a difference. Either they did not possess the skill, or they lacked the drive to become truly great. In rollerball, however, Jonathan E. does achieve something great. By his blood and sweat, he proved that he has the drive and the skill to actually make a difference in the world. The corporate anthem he once held dear is now replaced by a frenzied crowd chanting his name.
Jonathan, 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 Jonathan.